there was a pause, so I will continue from this place. And the first depiction of the earliest depiction after the Rig Veda, which is dated by me between 3300 and 2600 BCE. So it is the earliest text of the Indo-Europeans. And the next later tradition is the Hittite tradition. So we have several Hittite depictions. Or it's better to say several Assyrian depictions of the Hittite gods, dating back to the 1750 years BC. Again, 1750 BC. So they come from the Assyrian trade settlements in Anatolia, in Asia Minor. Here we have the carriers of the Anatolian Indo-European tribes, which later gave birth to the famous Hittite Empire and some other Indo-European states in this region. So I will move to the illustrations. Please, Sophia. This is the first. This is the drawing of the cylindrical seal, Assyrian trade colony in K.i.n and Anatolia. And here we see the riding deer of the god. A very exact, very evident picture of the riding deer. Usually in these seals, the gods are depicted as standing on some animals. And here we have the bull, and here we have the deer. So deer was a sacred animal for the ancient Anatolians and for the ancient Hittites, the same as he was a sacred animal in the first mandala of Rig Veda belonging to Indra, riding Indra. K.i.n. Indra. Next seal, next drawing, again from the same Assyrian colony. We see here again the deer and the god standing on that animal. Again from this place we have more. Again a deer. Again, a god standing on it, and some more. Again, there are many gods here depicted in this seal. This one is the god standing on the horned deer again. And this tradition started at the beginning of this century. Again, the same Assyrian seal, not the same, but one more Assyrian seal, again, the deer, started at the beginning of the 2nd century, or maybe around the end of the 3rd. I'm not talking about century, about the millennium, 1000 BCE, around 2000 BCE. Again, Assyrian and Anatolia, again a deer. Again, horned deer. It continued up to the end of the Hittite civilization, even after the fall of the Hittite Empire around 1200, around 1200 BC. This is the stone relief from Yoni cave, dated by 1500, 1300 BC, and you see here the deity again standing on the horned deer. Next is the famous one of the two famous silver Hittite vessels, and we see this vessel is made in the form of the front part of the deer's body. But what is more interesting, we have here one additional relief. I will show it. and it is dated around 1400–1200 BCE from central Anatolia, from the very Hittite kingdom, from the glorious Hittite Empire. And we see here this detail of relief, one more relief, and we see here the god standing on the horned deer. Again, like Indra in Rigveda, riding on the horned deer with gold horns. We see here a god standing on the horned deer of the Hittites. So direct and very evident parallels. One more depiction of the same, and then we have more seals with the depictions. It is also from the Hittite kingdom, the reign of Tudhalia the fourth, one of the Hittite kings, and here we have the depiction of in his seal we see the depiction of the horned deer as the riding animal for the god, or maybe goddess, it's difficult to say here. Again, of the same Tsar, of the same king, Tudhalia the fourth, from Bogoskoi again, the collection from Bogoskoi. Again, we see this deer as the riding animal for the god, or the goddess. Then we have more seals of the same Tsar, of the same king, and we have more deers, horned deers, we see, used as riding, as a stand for them, as a moving stand for the gods. Then one more relief, again. It is from Altin Yaila province. This is Gölpinar village next to the town Akziyaret. It is the 10th century BCE. Again, we see a very clear relief of a horned deer used as the riding animal of a god. This is the rock relief from the bank of the river Karasu. It is dated between 1000 and 800 BC. We see here again the horned deer. So this tradition of depicting this animal was very strong. This is a relief from Arslan Tepe, next to the modern city Malatya, 9th century BCE, and we see here a horned deer, again used as the riding animal of the god. One more. This is again the 9th century. The village Hachibibek. Again, we see the pieces, the fragments of the deer here, depiction, used as the stand for the god. Now we come to the other Indo-European tradition, and this is famous Greek vases. These are famous Greek vases. This is the bowl from the black-figured bowl from the University of Würzburg in Germany, Martin von Wagner Museum. It is dated by 530, 520 years BC. And here we have, it is here, the depiction of the chariot. We have the depiction of the chariot. I will show you the better picture here. And this chariot is drawn by several animals. One of them is exactly the horned deer. It is the reconstruction, and I will move this. Yes, this is the reconstruction, and we see here the chariot with the spoked wheels already, and we see two deers even. Yes, two deers used for drawing this animal alongside with the lion. It is also very interesting with the lion. Now we have the temple of Apollo in Besses, 4 120 to 400 years BCE, and we see very clearly a chariot drawn by two horned deers here. And now we have a very beautiful earrings made from gold. They were found in Crimea. They are dated. They date back to the 4th century BCE, and we see very clearly here the deer as a riding animal for the Greek goddess. Probably it is Aphrodite, if I'm not mistaken. Next we have Italian depiction on the bronze mirror from Orvieto, Etruria, Italy, 4th century BCE. Again we see the horned deers used for riding for the gods. Then we have the red figure vase from Apulia. Now it is in Hermitage in St. Petersburg. It is from Armenta. It is dated to 350 to 325 years BC, and here we have a very beautiful drawing of the pair of horned deers drawing the chariot of the gods. Next is also of the same time from Volterra, Etruria, Italy, a red figure vase, again the same deer chariot, horned deer chariot, and closer, very exact, very evident. One more from Apulia, around the same time, 340 to 320 years BC. Again we see the horned deer. The horns are depicted in white color, and they are drawing the chariot of the god. One more from the same, maybe a little later, 340 to 300 BC, southern Etruria, Lazio, Italy, Cerviteri, K.i.n, a red figure vase with the team of horned deer drawing a chariot. One more. This is the bronze figurine. At least, in fact, there are 3 figurines here. It is dated by the Etrurian epoch of Italy, very broadly, from the 800 to 200 BCE. And we see here a rod standing on the chariot, moved, drawn by 2 horned deers with short horns. The same. So we come to Italy. And here we have one more red figured vessel from Museo Archeologico Nacional, Madrid, Spain, National Archaeological Museum of Spain. And we see a very clear picture, very clear, beautiful drawing of the horned deer drawing the chariot. And then we have just hundreds of silver coins of the Roman Republic. The first series is dated by the year 143 BCE, and we have the depiction of a goddess riding on a horned deer-drawn chariot. Many depictions. I just can't stop for long on them. I just will move and you will see how many are they. There are very many depictions of the horned deer drawing the chariot of this goddess. And you see very clearly the name Roma. Roma, that's the Rome city, yes? Very beautiful. There were so many that I had to divide my book into 2 volumes, because I just can't put them all into one volume. Very many. The same year, 143 BC. And the next year with the depiction of the same pattern is the year 22 BC, the 1st century BC. Again, we see very clearly the horned deer, the pair of horned deer drawing the chariot of the goddess. And again, very, very many. You see how many they are. This is Rome. This is already the next in the European tradition, the third already. First was Hittite, then ancient Greek, then ancient Roman. Very, very, very numerous. It was so difficult to collect all them, to make good illustrations and to put them all together, but I did it for the science. And next year with the same depiction is 71 year BC. Again, silver Roman coins, 71 year BC. With the same depiction and even better because the horns are very long and branchy. So we see it very clearly and evidently. This is the horned deer drawn chariot of the Roman goddess. Many, 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 many. And then we come to more depictions, but not on coins. We have the famous Augustus statue from the mention of his, so to say, civic wife, Livia Drusilla, dated by the 1st century AD. And we have a beautiful marble statue, and it has the depiction of the armor, bronze armor, on his body. And here we have a very clear, I will show it to you, depiction of a horned deer drawing a goddess, one of the Roman goddesses. Here it is clearly, more clear, and more. And this is from famous Pompeii in Louvre Museum. Again, we see two deer standing next to the chariot, probably having a rest from riding it. One of them is a horned deer. The second is hornless. Again, from Pompeii, one of the frescoes, and here we have the depictions of the rods riding horned deer drawn chariots. And this is also from here, and this is one more depiction. It is dated to the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD from Staatliche Antiken Sammlungen, Munich, Germany, and state collection of antiquities. And here we have again the horned deer. Then we have this series of bronze and other coins of the late Roman emperors. This is the coin of Hadrianus from Minor Asia. We see here the horned deer pair drawing the chariot. Mark Aurelius, the 2nd century AD, again from the same region. This is Mark Aurelius from the same region, again bronze, more bronze from the same region. Ephesus was the cultic place for this goddess. And then we have a beautiful marble relief from the same city of Ephesus, the middle of the 2nd century AD, with the depiction of the chariot drawn by two horned deer. And again we have from Greece, it is northwestern Greece, Epir, Nikopol. It is dated by the reign of Faustin II the Junior, 147 to 175 years AD. Again from Peloponnesus, Marco Aurelius' reign, the coin of Caracalla Emperor from Minor Asia. This is the coin of Mark Apeli Macrin, the beginning of the 3rd century AD. It is bronze, it is from Ephesus also. This is the coin of Trajan, one of the last greatest emperors of Roman Empire, from the Minor Asia. The coin of Comet from the Minor Asia, the enclosure. And more of Comet, again of Comet, from Minor Asia, many. Geta Emperor, Ephesus, the end of the 2nd, the beginning of the 3rd century BCE. So we see that this cult was very widespread. It was a state cult. This is the coin of Septimius Sever from Acrasus, Minor Asia. Again, Julia Mamaea, Acrasus, Minor Asia. Alexander Sever, Colosse, Minor Asia. Sallustia Arbiana, and many others. Gordian III from Minor Asia. Again, Gordian III, and Valerian I, Lesbos Island, Mytilene, you see the date, or AD 253 to 260 AD, and so on. So they are very numerous. These are the cover of the sarcophagus from Rome, the end of the 3rd century AD, and we see several depictions, relief depictions of the horned deer chariots. One more sarcophagus of the end of the 3rd century AD from Rome, marble again, and we see here, if we move closer, one of the chariots is drawn by the horse, by the horned deer, a road chariots. And the last